Right, just a quick one, taking the advantage of working from home today, which means that I can tinker at lunchtime, which is nice. There's fuel on the floor because I did what I always do. I have swapped the 140 to the 120. Obviously it's got the new float valves in it, so it should be a little bit healthier. It's run off a secondary tank. This is all the sort of stuff that I should have done on Sunday. I did what I always do and left the sodding drains open, so I put one little loader. I've only got a tiny bit of fuel, one load through that just gushed straight through, which was fucking irritating, but that's managed to be full. I don't have my stand, so I apologise if this is all shaky or you get my hands in front of it. Give it a little bit of choke. That is the 120s. Good range. There's no big dead spots. Reaction's not clean, but it's cleaner. Stronger idle. Yeah. So that's choked up. I think that's better. So I just burned that fuel off a little bit. Excuse me. Yeah, so what I've still got the original petcock. The petcock that was on it. It's not the original for the bike. For the single, I could just bang that on the tank, which I've chucked over there. And I think with the floats now a lot healthier than they were, it would probably hold. That said, I've ordered a proper vacuum fed petcock for the bike. A little bit more expensive. It's about 25 quid, so it's not a lot. And that arrives tomorrow, so it's going to be an arse to do because obviously that's a full tank, so I'm going to need to drain it first, or at least drain a large chunk out of it so I can change the petcock over. I'm not going to do that twice, so I'm going to wait until the proper petcock gets here before I put it on. But I think that's healthier. I've got the 125s. I'm tempted to try the 125s, but frankly I think I'm going to push it all back together with the petcock on the 120s that are now in there, and see how it actually rides, rather than, because you can only learn a certain amount by blind revving in a garage. But yeah, so what, the jetting down to 120 has made it sound better. Need to wait till tomorrow and I pick up the petcock, or pick it up till the petcock gets delivered. I'll put the petcock in and see if it rides better too. Cool. And I can't believe yet again I forgot to do up the sodding bleed valves before I poured fuel in. Oh well, consistency. Check that out. Boxed in for the moment, but I am so happy with that. So that was a more accurate cardboard frame. Measured again, cut again, and that's really quite thick stuff that. I was worried about how I get a bend in it, but I've scored it and just, I thought about different ways with the frame and everything, ended up just doing it sort of in my gut. So yeah, sanded that down, sanded it, filed it down. I don't know whether or not to try and put sides. No, you're overcomplicating your life, as usual. Right, so that's going to get cleaned off and hopefully sprayed over this evening. I haven't got any bolts short enough at the moment. These fit, but obviously they're ground out really high. So I need to get some bolts that are shorter, or just hack the bottom off those. I think I'll get some proper bolts, I think, at the right length. But no, I'm happy with that. That looks so much tidier, and look even tidier once it's blacked. Cool. There you go, bit of etching primer on it. You might notice the extra bend in the couple of holes at the end. I realised I could attach it just to the back of the tank as well, which will save me a lot of beautifying later. I decided not to hammerite it, I decided to spray it. Just try and keep brush strokes to a minimum. So yeah, etching layer. I don't think I'll film any more of the spraying because it's just spraying a relatively flat bit of metal. But yeah, cool, happy. Okay, so a wet and dreary day, and a wet and dreary mood from me as well. What have I got up to? Right, so I went back to the original petcock without the vacuum, just to prove it. I also got a repair kit for the proper petcock, which I've done. I suppose I should have filmed that really, but it's relatively straightforward. So I want to get that swapped across today and put on there. I dropped the oil, didn't film it because it's the simplest thing in the world. Dropped the oil, refilled it, ran it, no smoke, no nothing, just brilliant. It's never sounded better. I've also done the air fuel screws as well. Again, didn't film it. If you want to know how to do it, there is a very good how-to, there is a good how-to that I did on a ZL600 eliminator. So yeah, all good in the hood. But no, as I was putting the sump screw back on, I noticed something. So I've ordered a new one thinking I was leaking around the seals of the sump screw, but I'm not sure how much you can see that. Oh, you can see that better than I can normally actually. You can see a crack in the sump. Now either I've screwed that up too tight, which I'm adamant that I didn't. The previous one was properly leathered in there. It was a rubber mallet job to undo it. So I reckon someone's impact driven it on in the past, and it's just fucking cracked it, which is really irritating. Because that's a new sump. There's no way of fixing that. So I'm gonna have to go shopping. But I'm really pissed off. You can see the drip coming through. I mean, it's not a run, actually. That's a better view than I was getting. Let's just dry that off. I forgot I could just chuck the camera under here. Using technology. So yeah, where it's been leathered in, I think it's cracked the sump. How the fuck? People using power tools when you don't need to. I'm sure that's exactly what it is. So what? Well, I can't ride it like that. It's just dripped oil straight into my hand. What I might do though is just try and leather it really tight and see whether or not that helps. But I'll order one anyway because that's just fucking bad news. I'm not fussed about stripping it. Yeah, I'm not fussed about stripping it because it's fucked anyway. That's really irritating. Right, get on to tintering it, I suppose. Right, we go all set up for the. Right, so what have I chosen to do? Well, I know it's leaking oil. It's got enough in there. I've just basically put enough in there to keep it going. It's not speeding up the leak. It's got enough for this exercise anyway, so it has warmed up a little bit. I'm going to be doing this exercise on a cold engine, so I'm plugged in on 1 and 2 in the middle 2 obviously, so the only 2 that move in need some restriction in these pipes. It's quite difficult to do with one hand, but I'm still down a stand. Bang on. Well, bugger me, it does look like the previous owner did something he said he did. Right, okay, happy. I don't want to run it too much. I've put enough oil in just to keep it going. I've had a quick look on Tintranet over ways to repair, and basically it's JB Weld, which will make sure it's really clean, otherwise it won't fit. JB Weld and carry on. It's only a temporary one. I'm going to have to order a new one. Unfortunately, the only ones I can find are in the US, which double, unfortunately, not only adds time, but adds about 30 quid's worth of postage as well, which is a real pisser. So I'll have a bit of a look around easier to see if there's anything else I can do. I've swapped the petcock over, and it leaks, even though I've got a new kit on it. You can see the fuel trying to get through. That said, I'm going to chuck it on, see if it works. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, and then see what happens. So I'll do that now. That said, it does now only seem to be dribbling through the fuel pipe. Now that's going to be plugged in, so I don't really see that too much for drama. That's certainly not. It looks like it's trying to be on prime. Now prime is there, so that should flow. Yeah, it shouldn't when it's on down, but it's still trying to. That's the stuff that was in the pipe. I'll have a look in a minute. But I'm just going to chuck that on for shits and giggles and just see if the floats will hold that off. I just think it's going to run neater off a vacuum fed petcock. Failing that, if it doesn't, I can just chuck the one that it came with back on, which would be a pain because I've done it before, and it runs alright with it, but it just, I don't know, get the feeling it should run off what it's designed to, but we'll see. Cool. Right, and then we get this tank on the bike. Okay, so tank's on, proper petcock is on. I was saying it did have a leak, but it was just leaking through the pipe, so I'm hoping that the carbs will just, the plates and stuff like that. We shall see. Right, element of moment of truth. rectifieds that might go in at some point. I don't know. I need to really take it out on a decent test ride, which I'm loath to do while it's dripping oil, because that oil is going to go right under that wheel, let alone polluting the road for everyone else. Yeah, let me have a think. Right, just while we're here, it's probably a bit passé to say can you guess what it is yet, because Rolf Harris and all, but can you guess what that is? Alright, well, let's see. And then, as if by magic, with a snap of the fingers, a bit of bodywork that I'm not 100% convinced on. Doesn't look fantastic, but looks a damn sight better than it did. Obviously silver isn't the colour of choice, but it serves the purpose of just covering them carbs a little bit. I won't lie, I'm not completely convinced yet, but it's better than it was. And at the moment, particularly with this bike, I'll take any gains I can get. Now, I'm not sure if it restricts the air to... Blithely, I just started that without really thinking, and it was straight in. Take your wind when you can. Yeah, that was straight in. Yeah, pipes are warm, but they're not hot. Happy with that. No choke. Hey, right. Frustratingly, that's looking really cool and sounding great, but it's dripping oil. So what am I going to do? I am going to, dripped on from my garage, I am going to drain that oil out again, or it does it itself. I'm going to chuck a load of WD-40 on all the bolts for the sump. I'll take the sump off. There are various things on repair or aluminium welding or whatever, which I might look at, but I think I'm just going to order a new one, a replacement one. The pisser is they're all in the US, so they're going to take a while to get here. But ho hum, we will do what we can do. Yeah, so I'm going to actually, I'm going to get it back in the garage and then whip that sump bolt out. So I don't really want to move it while it's dripping. Yeah, annoying. Particularly annoying because I may well have done it myself, but I'm adamant it was probably done when someone power tooled it up, someone someone impact wrenched it up, and they just got lucky. It just held itself together when the bolt was in. Yeah, real pisser. But hey, frustrating, but that's how these things go. The petcock seems to be fine. I'm not dripping any fuel anywhere, or not dripping any fresh fuel. It's hard to see with this now, but certainly I've got nice dry pods under there. So what, I might take that off and chuck some paint on it this evening, see how that looks. It's not going to look fantastic, but frankly it's going to look better than it's going to look better than it was. And also open AirPods in the UK in the winter are not a great idea. Yeah, and the important thing to remember to do, Nat, is to douse the bolts around the sump this evening, and then see if I can have a go at getting that off tomorrow. I'll have a look at repair, but no, I don't think it's going to work. Cool, cheers all, catch you later.